Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to the Education News Network. We are back with another interesting and informative panel discussion. I'm your host Pallavi Kulkarni. So today's topic of discussion is global comparison. How does Indian education compares quality, access and outcomes to the other countries? We have two distinguished educators on the panel to share their insights and thoughts about the current education trends and the status of Indian education system on the global platform. Let me give you a brief introduction about them. Ms. Shweta Sumant is principal of Shanthinikethana School and co-founder of Adelie International Preschool. She holds a master's in biotechnology, a B.Ed and a postgraduate diploma in English from Bangalore University, along with various certification courses from the British Council with over 18 years of experience. She focuses on developing innovative curriculum and diverse student needs. Shweta has won the Best District Principal Award from the Science Olympiad Foundation in 2018, 2020 and 2023. Under her leadership, Shanthinikethana School received the International School Award ISA 2017-2020 and the Design for Change Award in 2017 and 2018. She also mentored at the state level National Science Congress in 2015. She has received the much coveted Rex Karmavir Global Fellowship and Karmavir Chakra Award in 2020 for her social contributions. Recognized among the top 50 effective principals in India by Education Today in 2023. She participated in Finland Education Mission and is committed to making learning enjoyable. Our next guest is Ms. Shailaja Menon, is a dedicated, diverse leader with over 3 decades of experience in education sector, currently serving as the principal of the Shri Universal School. She was the founder principal of other eminent schools in the city. Ms. Shailaja's expertise spans around academic administration, curriculum development, and special education, all underscoring her commitment to fostering inclusive learning environment. With a robust educational background that includes an MA in English Literature and MEd and MPhil in Education, she has also done leadership training from IIM Calcutta. Ms. Shailaja Menon remains a renowned educator who passionately shapes the future of this country. I welcome both my guests to the panel show.
Thank you so much.
Let's proceed to our discussion on the global comparison. How does Indian education compare quality, access, and outcomes to other countries? Here's my first question to Ms. Shailaja Menon. So, how do you assess quality of education in India compared to countries with similar economic profiles?
So while I really value the quality of education in India, I would quickly want to say that, the approach to teaching, learning, pedagogy is the only key differentiator. And back again, I would just want to say it's just very relevant to a nominal percentage of schools only. So if you're talking about education overall, and if you have, we would try to define it exclusively between the countries that are, that fall into the same economic profile, I would want to say the approach to teaching or the approach to bringing in this quality of education is what is the key differentiator. So primarily, the education system in India over decades, it's been a little too traditional. So we focus a lot on the theoretical approach to teaching or the pedagogical factors. But primarily now, with over a decade or so, education sector in India is evolving so rapidly, and the teaching trends are very, very progressive. But we are just talking about arriving at a comparison. Then I would want to say the reason behind India ranking number 33 in the world education. The reason is purely because of this theoretical approach. While you refer back to the other countries who fall into the economic segment, they certainly have a very practical oriented pedagogical procedures, parallelly lot more experiential in nature. But presently, at least the last about a decade, Indian education is evolving so rapidly, bringing in the best to every child.
That's a great answer, ma'am. That shows that you have seen a lot of education systems over the country, and you yourself being into the field for 30 years. It shows your experience. So, my next question to Shweta ma'am is that what specific factors contribute to the difference in the educational quality between India and other nations?
Yes, a lot of factors contribute to the difference in quality of education in India and other countries. The primary factor is the infrastructure and resources. So, India, apart from the urban, most of the rural and remote places lack basic amenities like classrooms, laboratories, library. So, there's no proper infrastructure to provide quality education. And coming to the teaching resources, yes, very limited resources are available, and that really doesn't give a scope for quality education. And when it comes to the teacher training and quality, quality teacher training is very important because in India, most of the teachers undergo training like B.Ed and B.Ed, and once they are qualified with a certificate, it means that they are a good teacher. Definitely no. When we talk about continuous professional development, so it's very rare seen in the schools. So schools don't fund or take it as a priority for the teacher development, and obviously it impacts greatly on the quality of education which is being given to the children. And when it comes to the curriculum and pedagogy, yes, it's more defined by the boards and the schools, and there is very limited scope for the children to choose their interest of subject and nurture that particular subject. So it's really not happening in India. Very sorry to say this, because it's mainly exam oriented and children have to just memorize and then omit in the answer papers, and their grades and marks define what they are in India. Okay, unlike the Western countries where it's given a wide scope for their profile building. You can take it as like co-curricular activities, the academic profile, and then maybe their social work. So, and their hobbies. Lot of things are being considered. There is a lot of diversification which is need to be considered. Okay, and then when it comes to the socio-economic factors, yes, a lot of economic disparity which exists in our country also affects to the quality of the education, and people who are not affordable. Okay, so the low economic or the low income people are not affordable for a quality education in India. Um, and when it comes to the policy implementation, India has made significant policies like RT, but it is not being consistently taken forward. So it's been dropped, and it's very unfortunate that most of the underprivileged children are not affordable for a quality education.
Right. Yes. That's a wonderful answer, ma'am. So with that thought, with considering all the comparison and the problems that we have, so what do you think? What are the major barriers to access in the Indian education system, and how do they compare to challenges faced in other countries as well?
Yeah, India is facing a lot of barriers with respect to the education system. Primarily, it's the economic barrier. Okay, since the high cost, the private schools, and then the materials and the tutorials are very expensive. So most of the low economic or the backward classes are not able to afford for a quality education, and the geographical disparities which exist in a wide country like us. So the remote and the rural areas where children are not able to, you don't find good schools. Right. There are places where there are no schools also, and because of the transportation issues, they're not able to reach to the schools also. But whereas in the other countries, like quite developed countries, so there is an option for online schooling, right, and even there are remote classes which are happening. mobile classes which are taken into consideration. And when it comes to the social and cultural factors, there are still remote places in India where I can say that girls are deprived of education. Okay, we talk about gender equality, but they don't encourage girls to, or a specific community are not being allowed to take their education. See, right to education has been implemented for a long time, and it's a right of every child to be educated, but which is not happening.
True. See,
And
if I can add a little here, see, Indian education has been progressive, and we have also, the statistics that says that we have come a long way. Like if you look at the surveys that have been drawn in the year 2018, we ranked number 30, number 40 in the world, where you compare about 133 schools which fall under the same economic profile. So we ranked in 2018, we ranked number 40. And then in 2019, we pushed ourselves to number 35. And in the survey 2020, we are ranking at number 33. So that's the world ranking and amidst 133 schools which are comparable in world education sector. This is why Global Innovation Index that proves this. So there again, I think we have shown a very, very progressive trend. So within such a short duration of about 5 years, we have moved ourselves. It's very, very common that we say learning is a slow process. Similarly, progress is also a equally slow process. Considering the fact that we are such a large country with so dense a population, leading the world in population, I think the metrics, any metrics that you use, will give us a validation that most Indians abroad are very, very successful at their jobs. That's purely because of the entire credit revolves around Indian education system. So if you talk about comparing the quality of education, definitely we've come a long way from the Gurukul system to now. So most good schools, whether you are in the city limits or in the rural area, the quality of education and everybody understands you're shaping the destiny of the child. So there is passion and commitment there. But how quickly can we move to the other domain and stand up and say that, yes, we are top 10 in the world? That probably is what we need to expect in the near future.
definitely, that transformation requires
Something,
time,
yes.
and it requires consistent effort also. And
I think
I also
presently-
urge the government also to increase the GDP of the education, okay, which is now at current 4% compared to the other countries where it has crossed 6.6. So,
But I think National Education Policy 2020 has brought about a world of affairs and progress into almost all schools, because the national curriculum, the focus is not just raising the literacy level of the country, but also ensuring and exercising that quality education. So that is something that, as educators, we really appreciate and commend the efforts.
So, since you brought up the gender equality in terms of education, when we look into the global perspective, a lot of Afghani schools have been closed only because girls are not going to schools and girls are not allowed to pursue any kind of education. So, being educators, how do you feel about it? What are your comments on this heinous move by that country?
I think there should be a stand where there's a mass education trend, because you need to sensitize the children and help them understand that the worthiness of this educational profile, whatever they would otherwise receive. I think if as individually, if they can start a program like, in fact, very, very often you hear this in India, each one teach one.
Yes.
So if we initiate something like this, and there is a mass educational trend where, without formal education becoming the primary focus and the question of affordability rising every now and then, I think they would get sensitized to the fact that yes, it's a mandate, and as an individual, as a child or as an adult, I would definitely want to fall into that literate background. I think they should be sensitized, and primarily the focus should be that how would you raise a nation's level of accomplishment that comes only with
Education and awareness.
Yes.
yeah, setting that awareness and sensitizing the public on what this primary focus is something that
Yeah.
we should really
So my next question is to Shailaja Menon ma'am. How can India balance traditional education values with modern teaching methods used in other countries?
okay. I think it's $1 million question, and I thoroughly appreciate the question too. Yeah, and having been in the industry for over 3 decades, I really connect to the evolution of education in India. Because I have started, as a headmistress in the year 1987, and since then to now, I have seen the progress and the graph of the evolution. And I think primarily I would want to give place all the appreciation and commendation to the National Curriculum Framework and CBSE primarily, because the evolution that we have seen in CBSE schools, the curriculum, the focus and competency-based learning that today we implement in schools really are the reason, key success factor behind this quality of learning in schools. Irrespective of whether the child is part of a CBSE or a state board or an ICSE, there is a quality check and a process in almost all good schools in India. Yes, there is, a percentage of population, that is yet to receive this sustainable, the quality check and the process for, the learning trends. But otherwise, the trends in schools have evolved and come a long way. So if we are looking at experiential learning trend, almost all the schools that revolve around a curriculum, there are multiple tools, multiple pedagogical tools that are utilized very, very progressively. So children are learning very actively, and the learner outcome is measured using multiple metrics. It's not just about integrating technology, but also there is a very conscious attempt to ensure that the quality of learning is very effective. Besides this, I think teacher empowerment programs, like if I quickly can refer to Shriram Group of Schools, see, Shriram Universal School at North Bangalore is a flagship school of Shriram Group of Schools. So we are governed by the central office with over 100 plus academicians and educators. And we closely connect to every evolution, every progressive attempt that is made by CBSE. We bring it live to class very consciously. And our curriculum enables this progressive learning trend. And I think very consciously we evolve competency-based learning and we customize learning to each of them. And this way, every student in the school becomes a performer, an active learner, a great listener, and a great performer when it comes to academics and academic excellence. So I think the focus should begin. Any service that we talk about should begin within the school. So if every school, aspires to bring about and shape the destiny of every child in their school, then sky is the limit for, children of India.
Very well articulated about the balances and educational values and teaching methods. So with that, we'll take a small break. After the break, we'll resume the panel discussion.
Education Today is coming up on All India School Ratings and Rankings this December. In its endeavour to recognize and celebrate the journey of success of the best schools pan-India that have constantly proven their ability to provide world-class education to their students and thus mold them into leaders of tomorrow, Education Today rates and ranks these schools across various vital parameters in this issue. Block your space now to be a part of the Premium League of Schools and feature as one of the best schools in India.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our panel discussion. To resume our panel discussion, here's my next question to Shweta Sumant. So, what role do international organizations play in shaping educational reforms in India compared to other countries?
Okay, a lot of international organizations have been playing their pivotal role in implementing a lot of educational strategies across the world, and especially in underdeveloped countries also. So, organizations like UNESCO, UNICEF, and World Bank have been funding for the infrastructure and basic facilities in remote places to ensure the literacy rate is being maintained and a quality education is being given there. And apart from that, a lot of continuous assessment has been done, and they are able to find out the learning gaps of the kids. And through this, they are able to devise strategies where exactly they are able to fix the issues. So that is one of the thing. And yeah, they also have played a very important role in the policy framework. So like they have checked out the best practices across the world, and they have been researched and implemented in various countries, and made a trial so to check out the feasibility of the environment and according to the cultural environment of the country, and it has been implemented in various states and countries. And global partnerships, so the organizations like UNICEF has been promoting global partnerships across the country for the exchange programs with respect to student exchange and the teacher exchange programs. It has been effectively done. This is to like improvise or devise their strategies in teaching and learning and make the learning better and provide a quality education.
Thank you so much for your answer. There are many institutions and platforms that are contributing towards global education improvements. So your answer is really like giving us more details on it. Thank you so much for that. So my last question is to Ms. Shailaja Menon. Ma'am, your question is, as education evolves globally, what emerging trends should India focus on to remain competitive in the international education landscape?
I think primarily we need to stop running after marks, running after scores. Yeah, the focus here in India has always revolved around competitive assessments, competitive examinations. So while we have, since quite a few decades focused on theoretical approach to teaching, learning, or the quality of education has always revolved around theory based learning trends. We need to cut away from there, bring in this progressive trend where there is an experiential learning approach that is progressive by all means. The objective and the outcome should align progressively, and this practical approach to learning, where skill based learning that we are focusing on, should take over the theory based learning. And once I think we have, we've already shuffled up. If you look at the evolution of education and the system and the approach over 3 decades, we have definitely moved from the initial phase of evolution. Presently, we are in maturation phase. So this is the right time for us to optimize our approach to experiential learning trend, bring in progressive approach to practical learning and skill-based learning. Again, I would want to place, the National Curriculum Framework and the CBSE's attempt to stabilize and standardize the quality of teaching in, the entire nation across the country and internationally, wherever it is, the CBSE stream of learning. Their focus has always been competency based, customized learning trend. So, here again, the child has tremendous scope to build up the skills along with logic, reason, and multiple domains while integrated approach to teaching is followed. So, that should be our tool to bring in the quality of outcome in children. So if we all remember and believe that we are shaping the destiny of every child for life, so consciously we work on it, I am sure that the entire segment will perform.
That's a wonderful answer, ma'am. So, with that, we have come to the conclusion of our panel discussion. So, I would like to ask both of you to, if you have any advice or if you are aspiring something that you expect from the education field or you want to give something to the education field. So, your last points on that, ma'am, to both of you.
Okay, educational barriers doesn't just exist only in India, but even the other countries also. It again faces multifaceted issues, like maybe it is socio-economic or anything else like that. But I feel all the stakeholders, right from the parents, the educators, and the government has to put together their hands and then bring in the quality education through better policy framework and strong implementation. So that's what I urge for the government also.
That's great, ma'am.
Education is a very powerful tool, and the most beautiful thing about education is that nobody can take it away from you. So let's inspire and motivate lifelong learning and trigger the aptitude for learning in all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our panelists. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and thoughts about shaping the Indian education system when compared to other countries in the world. We look forward to having many more panels like this. That's all for today's engaging panel discussion. See you in the next panel discussion. That's all for today's engaging panel discussion. Feel free to reach out to us for any queries. We would be happy to answer them all. For more such videos, visit our website www.theENN.com. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to the video. Thanks for tuning in. This is Pallavi Kulkarni and we'll see you next time.